Hey, it's Joe. If you've had your heart broken, whether that was recent or in the past, you're going to love this video. And we're going to start off today by asking you a question. If you've had your heart broken, is that a blessing or is it a curse? Because if you're like most people watching this and you've had your heart broken, you're going to go, wait a minute, you don't understand. You don't understand what that SOB did to me. And I get that. I really, really do get that. I spent 3 years in a relationship with a woman who basically lied to me. And 30 days before we were supposed to walk down the aisle, she told me the truth, which ultimately caused us to call off the wedding. And what I ultimately realized in that moment is I had two choices. Now, didn't say it happened right in that minute. I had to blow off some steam, and it took me, a day or two, maybe even a couple of weeks to have this realization. But ultimately, what I realized is that I had two choices. I could look at what happened and curse her and look back with regret. Or I could realize that I had a different choice. I had a different path. That I could look back and see this as a learning experience, as a blessing, to see what I had to do different. And one of the things I realized is, one of the reasons I looked at it as a blessing, because I realized what my life would have been like if we actually went through with it. Because I knew going through that 3 years, it wasn't like I was happy and all of a sudden I was blown out of water. I was pretty unhappy. I was literally trying to make a square peg fit in a round hole. I was doing everything I can to make her happy and make the relationship work, often at the expense of my own happiness. And so I was glad that I didn't have to continue down that road anymore. Yeah, all the fears of, will I ever find somebody? Why didn't it happen to me? Why do I keep getting screwed? All that stuff came up. But I realized that that was just stuff that I had to look at and I had to deal with. And I had also seen too many people take on the role of victim and waste their life and go from one bad relationship to another because of what happened to them and closing down. And I simply wasn't going to give her that satisfaction. And I don't think, this is the way I look at it. If somebody has hurt you and broken your heart, by you closing down, you help them defeat you even more. It's bad enough that they ruined the relationship, but now they've caused you to close down and ruin the rest of your life and really taken you away from that possibility of love. Because the reality is, if you don't go into a relationship with a truly open heart, and that scares the hell out of you, because that leaves you vulnerable. And yes, love is risky. There are no guarantees. But if you don't go in truly open and show a man that you are open, he's going to sense that. And if he's a good guy, he's either going to run, or you're going to attract a guy who's going to take advantage of that, who's going to manipulate you, who's going to control you, who's going to walk all over you. And so the good news is it doesn't have to be like that. You have the ability to see it however you want. Okay? You have the ability to look at your broken heart and all the things that have happened to you and realize that I can see this as a curse and take on the role of victim, or I could take it on as a blessing, as a valuable learning experience to see what I have to do differently and better the next time. And so a little homework assignment for you this week is I want you to look back not only at that relationship, but every relationship prior. And you might want to take out a pen and paper and write down, what is it that you learned from that experience? What is it that you have to do? Maybe you ignored the red flags. Maybe you put up with a type of behavior that you don't deserve. There's at least one thing, because when I did this, what I realized is that every relationship that I went through prior, there was something I walked away with. Sometimes it was seeing a good quality in a person that I was ultimately looking for. And it's like, ooh, I can have that. That does exist. Because I know, let's be honest, you date guys and, there are lots of boys out there, and you keep seeing the crappy part, okay? Because that's what we tend to focus on as human beings. Well, the purpose of this is to also focus on the good. So maybe you had a relationship where, the guy was respectful, he did call. Maybe you had a great lover where, wow, our sex life was incredible. All those little pieces of the puzzle. And the key when you find that right person is you're going to find that all the pieces come together and actually complete the puzzle. So, this is a really, really important video. I really suggest that you watch it at least 2 more times, and you might want to even take some notes, because if you can go back and look at your past as a blessing and really see it. I'm not talking, yeah, I see it, but I mean, really see it, really own it, really feel it. This is really going to serve you in going forward. And if you can't, if there's that part of you that doesn't want to, you know, really look at that. And if you're having trouble, drop me a line, sign up for a consultation where we'll help you see through it. Because that means there's simply a part of you that doesn't want to let go. There's a payoff to you holding on to that. And no matter logically how it doesn't make sense, it doesn't matter, because human beings, we're not logical creatures. People will ruin their own lives due to drug and alcohol. They will ruin their financial lives because of their spending habits. They'll struggle with weight, and yet they'll continue to go to Burger King and order the extra value meal. Okay? People will hold grudges for 30, 40 years over stupid things. Okay, this has nothing to do with logic. Human beings are not logical creatures. We do everything based on emotions and our emotional needs. So if you're a while out of a relationship, or maybe you're just out of a relationship and you're having trouble letting go and moving on, or trusting, whatever it is for you, that simply means that there's a part of you that just doesn't want to right now. And so my recommendation is you either deal with that now or you deal with it later. And what you'll find is it may be a little uncomfortable to deal with it now, but it's going to be a lot more painful to deal with it later. Well, as always, I hope this helps. I hope this reaches your heart. And again, if you know someone who can benefit from this today, please pass it along. It might be just what they need to help them move to the next step. We'll see you next time. God bless.